Good morning, Philadelphia, and all of the ships at sea. This is your girl, Amber E, with the piping hot tea. This is my tea. What's yours? And oh, goodness gracious, if there was ever a time to enjoy tea together, it is today. Now, before I do anything else, yes, I'm a 76ers fan. Yes, I lean more towards football than basketball. I am Bird Gang for life. Go Birds! But it just might be that I'm a fan of The View and I like seeing Sarah Haynes and Whoopi Goldberg and Sonny Hostin so excited for the Knicks. But man, you have to give the Knicks props. This has been quite, even if you are not a hardcore basketball fan or a hardcore Spurs fan or a hardcore Knicks fan, you have to admit this has been good entertainment. And you know, we're in the middle of the NBA Finals, and good grief, talk about a comeback that the Knicks made. I mean, really, in Game 4, it was no joke. Quite frankly, I don't know if you all saw this, but there was a bit of controversy this week regarding some people who came to the basketball game and may or may not have affected the ability to watch the game for free outside and in the park. In Central Park, that is. And so there were a lot of fans who were a little upset about it and said things like that may have brought bad energy, so on and so forth. And some people may have also saged outside of Madison Square Garden. The bottom line is, OMG, that was a comeback in Game 4. Child! That was a comeback. So, if you are interested in watching Game 5, it takes place tonight. If you're here in Philadelphia, it'll be 8:30 Eastern Time. Again, it's taking place in San Antonio, Texas, broadcast on ABC. And because San Antonio, Texas is Central Time, it'll be 7:30. But here in Philadelphia, it'll be 8:30. So we shall see what happens, good people, because good grief. You got to give the Knicks props for coming back in what's now being called the greatest comeback in NBA history. So yes, it gives at least someone the incentive to celebrate. If nothing else, like I said, it's just good television. Speaking of celebration, Germantown, we have a week of celebration ahead of us. And golly gee, wow, it's not just because the Odunde Festival's been taking place all week, and of course it's going to culminate this upcoming Sunday, that is tomorrow, but also if you are in the Germantown area, please keep in mind Second Saturday is today also. It's going to be in Market Square from 12 to 4. So again, outside of... I'll say this very carefully. Outside of Black History Month or the need to just support black businesses all day, every day. Come out and, give out to the neighbors who are selling the good stuff. There's going to be music. There's going to be food. There'll be face painting. There'll be things for you, me, and everybody in your neighborhood. And on top of that, it's going to be great weather. So if nothing else, if you want to get celebration started off right, go from the specific to the general. The specific is G-Town. You are able to come to Second Saturday today, Market Square, 12 to 4 p.m. Just putting that out there. Hey. Also, guess what? We're going to get into Juneteenth in a little bit, but do not forget that the aforementioned Odunde Festival is taking place tomorrow in South Philadelphia. Now, mind you, Odunde is the oldest African American festival in North America. So this is nothing new. As a matter of fact, it's been on for half a century. So if you are interested in coming, if you've been before, if you haven't been before, I definitely recommend that you come out because my goodness gracious, there is sound, there is joy, there is energy, there is... personally, I've not been to the Odunde Festival since pre-pandemic. I know it's been quite a bit, but my gosh, it's going to be great. As a matter of fact, the last time I did go to the Odunde Festival, believe it or not, we got rained out. it was a downpour. There were people having to figure out, vendors saying, where can I do what, and how with my tents, my product, what have you. But we didn't let it stop us. As a matter of fact, people got ponchos, made ponchos out of ponchos out of black trash bags, put up their emergency umbrellas, and we danced. And that's what Odunde is all about. It is about celebrating and being joyous regarding African American culture. Now, just a bit of info, just in case you didn't know. Like I said, Odunde has been going on for 50 years. It was created in 1975, according to OdundeFestival.org. Odunde was created in 1975 by Lois Fernandez, who brought together her South Philly community to celebrate African heritage and the Yoruba New Year. What began with a $100 grant has grown into the largest African American street festival in North America. Quote, the Odunde Festival, whose concept originates from the Yoruba people of Nigeria, celebrates the coming of another year for African Americans and Africanized people across the world. Each year, the celebration is highlighted by a colorful procession from 23rd and South Street to the Schuylkill River, where an offering of fruit and flowers is made to Oshun, the Yoruba goddess of the river. Odunde is also known for its authentic African marketplace featuring vendors from around the world selling merchandise from African nations, the Caribbean, and Brazil. So that's just me giving a little bit more information about Odunde. As a matter of fact, and this is what I found my research to be quite fascinating, was there is an organization called Odunde 365. So yes, in the month of June, for the last half century, we've been observing Odunde, but all year you will find workshops and community buildings that focus on, according to the website, mind, body, soul, and wellness. So guess what, Philly? We're just getting started with celebration, but there's already a lot to do. You have Second Saturday here in the Market Square. You have Odunde tomorrow. And guess what, people? It's that wonderful time of the year. It is indeed Juneteenth coming up. And again, I myself am giving a Juneteenth presentation on Ridge Avenue at St. Timothy's Episcopal Church tomorrow at 11:30 to start off the week. So if you are indeed interested, you can come on out. There will be a Q&A. There will be food. There will be a good time of remembering why all of us, every human being, deserves to be free. So in keeping that in mind, what is the tea for today, y'all, that we're doing together? It's only appropriate. We're doing hibiscus, the quote-unquote foundational red drink served at Juneteenth, honoring African ancestors and symbolizing the resilience, sacrifice, and survival, made by steeping dried hibiscus flowers with warm spices and citrus. As a matter of fact, if you want a really good red drink recipe for Juneteenth, again, that is ginger. It's ginger, some kind of sweetener like agave or honey. I personally am going to use honey. So it's ginger, cinnamon, agave, hibiscus tea as well. And you can add your own thing to it because you know how we do. But at the end of the day, that's a good place to start with your hibiscus tea. And on top of that, you know me, I love knowing what my body does for me. That hibiscus is actually very, very good for you. According to an article on webmd.com, hibiscus is good for you because it's more than just lovely flowers. It's a lovely bright tea that has significance in quite a few cultures, not just in African or Caribbean culture. It has a feedback as well in some Hindi cultures as well. So after hibiscus flowers die, the tea is made from the inside of the flowers. And again, it is native to Africa, but it's also found in many subtropical regions around the world, including Thailand, China, and Mexico. It has a fruity, refreshing flavor that may be enjoyed hot or iced, and has many names around the world. So personally, I'm doing it hot today because that's how we roll. So I have my hibiscus tea ready, and I hope you have yours too ready, fam. You know how we do. As a matter of fact, before I do that, I'm going to add my honey to mine. Yes, I am. Woohoo! Y'all ready? Because I know I am. Swing bucket, people. Here we go. Round and round's a dreadful show. Back and forth is how we go. From 6 to 12 and back again. Back and forth to stay within. One more time. Round and round's a dreadful show. Back and forth is how we go. From 6 to 12 and back again. Back and forth to stay within. Oh yeah. I'm going to have my tea moment. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Congratulations to the 2026 graduating class. So proud of y'all. Discuss. Oh my gosh! Oh my good. Okay, yeah. Oh my goodness. I love this. And again, you all know that I'm a black tea girl. And again, my herbals, I do when it's necessary. I lean more towards the black tea, but that is so refreshing. There's a tang in it. As a matter of fact, this particular hibiscus blend, this particular hibiscus blend is from a local tea owner here in Germantown. Hey, how you doing? Thank you so much. And it's actually rosehip, hibiscus, goji berry, orange peel, lemongrass leaf, peppermint leaf, and raspberry leaf. And it's good for vitamin C, and it's a good caffeine boost as well, this particular blend. But we're going to do that again. Oh my gosh, that was so good. That's the kind of tea that is foundational for a red drink. I'm not even going to lie. Get your cinnamon, get your ginger, get your lemon, get your hibiscus tea, get your ice. Serve it this upcoming Saturday because, well, you can serve it on Friday and Saturday. Again, Friday is Juneteenth. So guess what, y'all? It is indeed a federal holiday. Do not forget that because as of June 17th, 2021, which is also my birthday, President Joe Biden signed that bill into law. Now, please keep in mind, Juneteenth has been observed in some form or another since June 19th, 1866. This is not new. As a matter of fact, according to an article on pewresearch.org, at least 33 states and the District of Columbia will mark Juneteenth with a paid day off for most state-governed workers. I said most. Again, there are 50 states in the Union and the DOC, District of Columbia, and only 33 of them will mark Juneteenth with a paid day off for most states governed workers. And when I heard that, I thought to myself, on the one hand, I get it. Every employer has their choice. On the other hand, however, I find it quite intriguing that, especially now that it has been signed into federal holiday status, that there's still this war about whether or not everyone should celebrate Juneteenth. The answer to that really is yes, everyone should. But why there's still this, for lack of better wording, hold up? Why is it that everyone hasn't jumped on that same carriage and we're all celebrating together? Again, I do wonder if a lot of it does have to do with lack of information. I wonder if it's still that feeling of, we already have the 4th of July, why do we need to move forward, so on and so forth. There are just the things that I think about. And again, freedom needs to be celebrated in every capacity. The sad thing about Juneteenth needing to exist in the first place is, again, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed in 1863 by President Abraham Lincoln. And yet, it was 2 years and 2 days after that proclamation was signed for the Civil War to actually end. And even after that happened, and this is 1865, of course, it's like after that happened, why is it that Galveston, Texas still didn't get the memo that slaves were free? And it really was down to the fact that slave owners still wanted another harvest. And the bottom line is, we commemorate this not to say what my father would have called the mullygrubs. We commemorate it because we don't need to, in any way, shape, or form, repeat history on the negative. That's the important thing here. And so people go, I don't know why Juneteenth's important. We already have the 4th of July. I don't get why we need to worry about it so much. Blah, 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 blah. This is why we don't worry about it. It's about the fact that if you can celebrate freedom from the British every July 4th, especially since America's turning 250 years old, then why can't we also celebrate freedom from our own bondages in our own country? This is the whole point behind the practice. That's where I'm coming from. And so, if you are indeed interested in celebrating Juneteenth, please keep in mind that the 20th annual Juneteenth Festival is taking place here in Germantown itself. It has a wonderful opportunity from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. to celebrate everyone. It's on the 6300 block of Germantown Avenue, right here near Germantown and Johnson Street. If you want to go to www.johnsonhouse.org, you definitely can do so to get more information. But really, this is how we throw down. There will be food, there will be music, there will be fun. You may even see some familiar faces like a G-Town radio tent giving you more information about who we are, what we do, how we celebrate each other, how we celebrate you, Germantown, and how this wonderful time in American history needs to be commemorated. Freedom needs to be commemorated. Always. So yes, go to johnsonhouse.org if you want more information about the Juneteenth Festival taking place here in Germantown. Now, mind you, that's on a Saturday. That's June 20th. That's this time next week, starting at noon. That will not be on Juneteenth, but if you do want to find ways to celebrate Juneteenth on Juneteenth, please keep in mind you can go to visitphilly.com, visitphilly.com. There are over 30 plus ways to celebrate Juneteenth 2026 in Philadelphia. There's festivals, music performances, art showcases, historical reenactments, so much. Again, keeping in mind, especially here in Germantown, that the Johnson House is a historical landmark because it is part of our history. Everybody say history. I heard you. And so please keep in mind that if you do want to go to the Germantown Festival, that will be on the 20th. That's next Saturday, not next Friday. If you do want to go to other places, I highly recommend going to West Philadelphia. Child, there is going to be a party. If you want to go to Old City, as I mentioned last week, DJ Jazzy Jeff will be having the annual block party where he, Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, all of that's going on. Also, I would highly recommend, while you're in Old City, visiting the African American Museum. I mean, it is in your city, Philadelphia. So, in as much as, and I don't mean to be cheeky, but I always find it kind of funny, because I'm part of this too, that for Juneteenth and for other historical times of the year, 4th of July especially, I see more people coming to Philadelphia into my own backyard and going to Betsy Ross's house, going on Independence Mall, so on and so forth. And it's like right in my backyard. And I kind of forget to remember that I do live in what was America's first capital before it became Washington, D.C. Philadelphia was. And so there's something very cool to me about how people come from all over the country, all over the world, to Philadelphia to see the birthplace of American democracy, to see the Liberty Bell up close, to see Independence Mall where the Founding Fathers, signed the Declaration of Independence, so on and so forth. But also keep in mind, Philadelphia, the African American Museum is here. So you may want to partake in celebrations, as well as, just for my fellow history buffs, learning more and more and more about Juneteenth. So visitphilly.com is a wonderful hub if you are interested. If you also want to go to juneteenthphilly.org, again, it is the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the ending of slavery in the U.S., so definitely see about going to juneteenthphilly.org if you are interested. Also, if you are outside the Philadelphia area, I know there are members of the AM fam who listen to Free, because Free popped up on my screen. Portmanteau, to Tea with Amber E. outside of Philly. We have people from Virginia, we have people from New York, we have people from North Carolina. Hey family, keep in mind that it's a Google search away. And however you choose to pause for Juneteenth, please, please, I implore you, I challenge you to take the time to celebrate that all people, especially those that may or may not have built America and the White House, need to be celebrated too. Remember, Juneteenth's not new. It's just now signed into federal law. And so again, if you go to juneteenthphilly.org, actually, there's a wonderful quote by A. Philip Randolph that you see the first thing pops up. It says, and I quote, "Freedom is never given, it's won." Again, freedom is never given, it is won, which means we have to fight for it. And to quote Josephine Baker, every day you have to fight for the little things so that they don't take the bigger things away from you, whomever they are. Also, this month was La Baker's birthday. And again, shout out to all my June babies. Yes, I am one of those, I celebrate my birthday all month kind of people. So this is a good reminder to fight for the freedoms, even if they seem kind of minuscule to others. What's the big deal? Why do you need to celebrate this? Your freedom, whatever is holding you back and whatever is keeping you bound is worth fighting for. If it becomes a cha-cha, learn the dance, then jump over that, Joan. Why? Because if you have to go back and forth to get free, that's fine, until you finally get to a place where you push past the back and forth and all you're doing is moving forward. So all I'm saying is that I am so excited for all of the joyous energy around Odunde and Second Saturday and Juneteenth, because there's something very wonderful to me about celebrating my culture. I've talked about this before. When I was growing up, I remember feeling a little left out, because while I am so thankful that I was raised in a diverse neighborhood and went to a diverse school where there were kids from China and Japan and Korea and Colombia and Puerto Rico and from Haiti, I was Black, and I am so glad. Thank you, God, for that. But I remember as a kid, I'd go, Mom, why don't Black people have a language? Why is it that all my classmates, this is like 10-year-old Amber. Like, why do all my classmates speak French and Spanish and, Chinese and Japanese and patois? Why don't I have a language? And my mother told me, as you've heard me say quite a few times on Tea with Amber E., that may have some truth in it, Amber, but we have a sound. And we have a beautiful sound. Also, it is Black Music Month. Who's your favorite? Whenever I think Black music, I love my people, but it's almost always Stevie Wonder for me. I said what I said. Yes, I did. But anyway, as an adult, as an educator, as a teacher now in my own right, again, congratulations to my babies who graduated this past Wednesday over to Coney Academy Charter High School. I love y'all so much. I have so much faith in you. Go kill it. Use your summer wisely. It's going to be great. But now as an educator, I feel so much joy in passing on all this information that I didn't get in school. We didn't learn about Juneteenth when I was growing up. We learned about American history, we learned about American slavery, we learned about freedom, we knew about the Emancipation Proclamation, and again, when I was growing up, Mount Airy Church of God in Christ, I think they still do this, would also do watch night service. I'll talk about that more maybe later in the year, going towards December, where again, we're waiting for the clock to wind down to when the Emancipation Proclamation was was official, that it freed us. But again, even though it was signed in 1863, the war didn't end in 1865. Do you see how these things actually do meet up? Where, yes, we can celebrate, but if you don't have the entire picture, are we really free? Especially if, again, freedom is never given, it's won, it's fought for. And so I get so much joy around this time of year, because I guess 10-year-old Amber had all these questions, and 30-something-year-old Amber is now finding all these answers and is able to pass them on to 15 and 16 and 14-year-old student in Philadelphia who doesn't even know or isn't fully aware yet of just how important it is to know where you come from. To quote Miss Cicely Tyson, you have to understand that we are the seeds of the work of our elders. We are not standing on their shoulders, but on their backs. I would dare add to that, in, of course, in respect to the Queen Mother, I would also say we are not only just the seeds of the work of our elders, we're the seeds of the work of our ancestors. There are people who died. Again, you're going to find during Juneteenth, the color red is going to be very prominent. There were a lot of people who died for our freedom. And I'm American, guys. I'm an American, and this is my history. I'm a part of the African diaspora, and this is where I come from. And if America, I always say that I don't think of America as a melting pot. I think we're more like a salad, at least on this side of time. If America is full of different kinds of people who come from so many beautiful places, I'd rather us not say I don't see color, and I'd rather say I see it, I celebrate it, and if it's not mine, I want to learn more about it. That's why we do this. That is the whole point of this exercise, not just to celebrate freedom for those who are commemorating who died for my freedom, or to, I'm quoting a lot of people today, wow. Or to quote Monique, when she received the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. She didn't quote, I'm sorry. She said in her speech, she thanked Miss Hattie McDaniel, who of course won an Academy Award, the first black person to win an Academy Award actually, for her role in Gone with the Wind as Mammy. She said, I thank Miss Hattie McDaniel for enduring all that she had to so that I would not have to. That's why I get excited about all this, because I'm on this side of time where I'm still fighting for freedoms. I said freedoms with an S. I said plural freedoms. We're not finished yet, but my goodness, we are not where we used to be. And that is not an excuse to say we can just stop fighting. No, it is 250 years of America being free from the British. Highly commendable. So glad. And yet we still have things like Natasha dolls. And there's an article on ebony.com, if you've not checked it out, about this. There was actually someone that I know very well who came out to one of my gigs. Hey, how you doing? Who gave me this information. And then a couple of days later, ebony.com posted the article about these Natasha dolls that are these squishy silicone dolls that have pronounced features, and they come in different shades and colors from light to light, dark to dark. But the controversy, unfortunately, is coming from the fact that to quote the article, it revolves around a baby-shaped squeeze or stress relief toy that some users find themselves squeezing, slapping, stretching, and roughly handling. What makes this so disturbing is that the doll is often dark-skinned, resembling an innocent black baby. And so, to go further in the article on ebony.com, and I quote, commentators who have seen the videos, many of which reportedly originate from China's tightly controlled social media platforms, say that the toy often features exaggerated physical characteristics that evoke a long history of racial caricatures. And so it's to go even further down, this trend is seen as quote-unquote harmless fun, and it's driven by engagement. Let me say this, to go even further, shock value often performs on social media, and algorithms reward videos that elicit strong reactions and encourage repeat viewing. As a result, content creators often push boundaries further, creating increasingly extreme scenarios to keep audiences watching. Glass is coming off. We are free. There's still some stuff happening that we need to get freed from. Things like this, for example. And so, yes, we celebrate, but just in case anyone is confused, thinking that this is over and done with, there are still some deep-rooted things. Even back last week when I was talking about the beauty of black hair, that we need to work against, where people still look at it like your edges ain't laid and your hair, like this kind of stuff still breaks my heart. And even before I came on to with Amber E, I was thinking, okay, we are celebrating, we are finding the joy in this, but it still comes from a place where people need to heal, and where people still need to look into, to quote Queen Mother Dr. Maya Angelou, into your sister's eyes and into your brother's face, your country, and stop things like this happening, because it still can open up old wounds, and it can open up old scars. So while we're celebrating, that is a time to throw our heads back and be grateful, but it's also time to be aware of the fact that we're not done yet. I want to end today's broadcast with a quote from the show that's getting a reboot. Oh, my favorite show of all time, A Different World. Season 4, Episode 1. Through the darkness of night and the heat of day, a ship sailed with haste from the African bay. This ship carried cargo more precious than gold, carrying human beings that were meant to be sold. Robbed of their culture, to their history blind, knowledge is essential to a strong black mind. Let us be historically and culturally immersed, feed our own hunger and quench our own thirst. Now we realize what we now need most, we possess deep inside. It's a feeling of spirit, and we call it Black Pride. Have a wonderful day. I've got you, you've got me, we've got this. Love and light, Am Fam. Peace.